Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. When the Browns' schedule was released, I don't remember anybody on any show that I did picking them to win more than 10 games. Now with 7 games in the books, they already have 5 in the win column, and it doesn't matter who they came against. Las Vegas, then the bye week stand ahead, and then the schedule even gets easier. Well, not easier in the bye week, but easy enough. 10 or 11 wins doesn't seem unreasonable, with part of the schedule including the Jets and the Giants. Let's get it on and see how many of you people were right. Mary Kay Cabot is here tonight. More Sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into its 25th consecutive year, powered by cleveland.com. So is Mary Kay Cabot, powered by the Plain Dealer and also cleveland.com. How are you, Mary Kay?
I'm doing great, Les. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Just another week at the office Well, you don't have an office, do you? Other than where you're sitting right now, you don't have an office.
Well, I actually do have an office. We may have talked about this before, but my office here at home still has little bubbles and teddy bears in it from it when it was the nursery for all 3 of my children.
Right.
So I haven't gotten around to, updating the office yet. So I cannot do Zooms or shows from the office.
Updating the office, it's like the kids are out of college already and you haven't cleaned your room yet?
Yeah, I've been busy. I've been very, very busy.
Okay.
No off seasons.
No, not in the NFL. It's all programmed that way. All right, just another weekend game at the office of Cincinnati Bengals. It was about. I didn't rank them all. I didn't look at all of them. It seems to me since they came back in '99, maybe the most exciting win they've had.
Oh, it was definitely one of them. It was right up there. My goodness. I mean, who amongst us thought when he took that ball with 106 left, no timeouts remaining at his 25, that he was going to go down there and win the game and throw that touchdown pass?
Yeah,
it was so improbable in so many ways.
You're hoping for a field goal at that point, somewhere along the line, just get it in there. And then, I don't know about you, but they missed the extra point after scoring the go-ahead touchdown. And I'm saying, all right, that's not a big deal. Then I realized my math wasn't so good. It was a big deal. It could have been and should have been a good deal. A big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
I was surprised.
It was a big deal. Yeah. So they were lucky. Yeah, they were lucky.
Well, which part? Because there's a couple of facets to this, and one was the fact that they let the Hail Mary pass was really defended poorly, and it turned out Kevin Stefanski says, no, we designed it that way. It was just my mistake. I made a bad call on it. Well, the bad call could have cost the game. Send it into overtime.
Yes. It could have. It could have. And so he did take the fall for that. I mean, who knows? Maybe it was actually, it could have been Joe Woods collaborating on that, the defensive coordinator. I'm not really sure how that works, but the buck stops with the head coach. So he took the blame, and that's as it should be. You don't want to throw your coordinators under the bus in that type of situation. But yeah, that was pretty incredible. He took the blame, and fortunately for the Browns, it went their way.
He took the blame, but he also explained what he was thinking, which gives you some insight into the man as a coach. Also, he didn't think, although most of us would think that Joe Burrow could have made that pass into the end zone. Apparently, Stefanski wasn't sure about it, and he was looking for laterals in the end zone. So at least he told you why he was thinking that way. It was just bad logic.
Yeah, but I mean, he owned it, and you can do that when you are confident, self-assured, and you know that you're really good at your job.
And you won it all, and you won the game already.
And you won and I mean, you hadn't won the game at that point because that could have gone wrong.
Sure.
But you mean for when he explained that to us? Yes.
Right.
You're right. Yes. It's much easier probably.
Hindsight is 20/20. All right, so the
Right.
big news and the bad news out of that from the Browns is that Odell Beckham Jr. out for the season. Who knows how long that'll be? That's a tough injury, and the timing is not good for a variety of reasons. So what do you do if you're the Browns? You know, somebody brought up, well, maybe Baker Mayfield was trying to please Odell Beckham the whole season and was maybe making plays he shouldn't have just to please somebody. It sounded crazy at the time, but the more you think of it, maybe there's something to that.
Well, it's a double-edged sword because here's the thing. Odell Beckham Jr. is basically a Hall of Fame caliber talent. Now, I don't know if he'll get there because he would still have to put together a lot of really, really good seasons, but he has generational type receiving ability and talent, and we've seen that time and time again. However, Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. didn't necessarily make beautiful music or magic together. So I think they will be able to overcome this. It will take a small village. They will need to use a lot of different people to fill the roles that Odell did. And he took away a lot of coverage from other people, often drew double teams and things like that. So you're definitely going to miss an Odell Beckham Jr. But there is something to be said for the fact that, Baker Mayfield just didn't really have the kind of connection with Odell that you would have hoped that they would have had if you were the Browns.
So what do? Do you take the playbook and open it up to the tight end section and you put more emphasis on the tight end? Or do you look for a trade? Do you look for the waiver wires? Waiver wires doesn't pick up somebody that is going to do what Odell Beckham Jr. could do for you.
No, no, you're not going to find a guy like that. But I do think that they have some interesting things that they can do. Like you mentioned, they have three really good tight ends. They actually have four on the roster, but they have three really good tight ends. They can use more tight ends. And then they have some receivers who have not really been used very much that can come in here and help make a difference. That's Rashard Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Kadarius Hodge is coming back off of IR, and then you still have Taywan Taylor. So there's a lot of guys that can come in and do the job. Chad O'Shea is an excellent wide receivers coach, and I think he's done a terrific job with these guys. So I think just in the same way that they had to use multiple people to make up for the loss of Nick Chubb, they'll do the same thing with Odell Beckham Jr. Not replace him, but fill the holes as best they can.
Am I crazy here, or could David Njoku play wide receiver in any way?
Not necessarily wide receiver. I mean, he could. He could, but I think you'll just see a lot more of the two tight end sets and sometimes the three tight end sets. They will utilize those guys that they have that can go down and make plays. And David Njoku is basically a deep threat as well. So he will be able to fulfill some of what is lost by Odell Beckham Jr.
Have we reached the point where we just should say, let's watch Baker Mayfield, let's watch him play, then we can make a decision rather than overanalyzing every pass that he makes and every play that he makes? Is it time to let him go and kind of spread his wings a little bit?
Well, you know what? I think that he showed something in this game that he needed to show while they are in the decision-making process in these last 9 games and the playoffs. We talked about this last week, and I was adamant about it, that Baker Mayfield needed to show that he could be the reason at times that they can win a football game, that he needed to have the ball in his hands and prove that in the fourth quarter he could go down and win a game. He really hadn't shown that very much.
No, but he did it. He did it Sunday, didn't he?
He did it. You know what? And you cannot take that away from him, even though it was the Bengals, and you can say what you want about that, but he had to go down there and be almost perfect to win this game because of the way Joe Burrow was playing. So it's not like he played an entirely horrible Bengals team. He played a bad Bengals defense, and he had to go toe-to-toe and get in a shootout and be near perfect because of how Joe Burrow was playing.
Joe Burrow not only played that way, it looks like he's setting the tone for the next decade in the AFC North.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Let's talk for 1 second about Joe Burrow, because he's going to be one of those guys, I think, like Ben Roethlisberger, that could be a perennial nemesis. He was phenomenal in that game, I thought. Think about this. He's a rookie. He had no offseason with these guys. He had no OTAs. He had no preseason games. He didn't have his lead running back, and they didn't have another one really quite like Kareem Hunt behind Nick Chubb. There's not another Joe Mixon really stepping in for Joe Mixon when he's out. Then he lost his starting center during that game. He lost his starting left tackle during that game. and there were just all kinds of things going on for him. And he also had to face Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. And I thought he just did a phenomenal job.
I don't know what you could see on the TV monitors from where you were sitting for that game, but at one point, Joe Burrow's mother got up and called a timeout. He wanted to remind him to do that. And then the father couldn't take it. Father is a coach at Ohio U. He couldn't take it anymore. He just got up and left.
Yeah, that is not the kind of game where you want to be the parent in the stands. It was so stressful. And I mean, he did everything that he could possibly do and then some to strap that team on his back to win that game. Meanwhile, his defenders, his defensive linemen, who have half of them have quit on the team, were acting up over on the sidelines. I mean, it was just a disaster. And yet he almost pulled that off. So, this is going to be quite the battle going forward.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay Cabot is here from the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. You can also email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. So do you think the word out, at least on Twitter, which is not necessarily totally reliable, you think that in some ways the Browns might be better off, or at least Baker Mayfield might be better off, without a full complement of Odell Beckham Jr.?
You know what? I'm going to say no.
You have to miss a guy like that.
I'm going to say no, because you have to remember once again that that was the Bengals that they just played. It's probably not all. If when you go up against a really good defense and he draws a double team and he can stretch the field and take the top off of defense and make some of the amazing catches and plays that he can make, I'm going to say no, that they are not going to be better off without Odell Beckham Jr., even though there is a disconnect between those two. I'm still going to say no.
Mary Kay Cabot with us from Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine. New content is posted every day. We post the question for you in the morning. You can answer it all day long, then we'll read it on the show as we progress throughout the evening. The show, of course, is seen from 6 until 7 p.m., and that's Eastern Time. Don't forget to change your clocks this at midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning this Saturday. 216-575-0403. More Sports and Less Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery, partners in education, where stars shine.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, Mary Kay, with the trade deadline approaching, the Browns may be in a market for a wide receiver with Odell Beckham out for the year. So let's take a look at a few options that are on the market right now and see if any might be of interest for the Browns. First, we've got John Ross of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the thing to know about him is that he is fast. He holds the NFL Combine record for the 40-yard dash at 4.22 seconds. He hasn't seen a lot of action with the Bengals this year. Only 2 catches with 17 yards, but in 27 career games, he's got 51 catches, 733 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Now you look at Golden Tate of the Giants. He's in his 11th NFL season. He spent time with the Seahawks, the Lions, Eagles, and Giants. Now last year, he missed his first 4 games with a PED suspension, but this year, he's got 20 catches for 195 yards and a touchdown. And he was a 2014 Pro Bowler with Detroit, catching almost 100 passes for over 1,300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, the Texans are shopping a trio of wide receivers right now. First one is Will Fuller. He's 26 years old in his 5th NFL season. He's got 31 catches for 490 yards and 5 touchdowns this year. And over his career, he's got 187 catches for over 2,000 yards and 21 touchdowns. Then you've got Kenny Stills. He's 28 years old in his 8th NFL season. He spent time with the Saints, Dolphins, and Texans. He's got 10 catches for 138 yards this season with 1 touchdown. Then there's Brandon Cooks. He's been around the league as well. He's spent time with the Saints, the Patriots, and the Rams, and with those 3 teams, he's gotten over 1,000 yards in a season with each of them. This year, he's got 34 catches, 427 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he's got 436 catches for over 6,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 95 career games. So, Les, Mary Kay, I wanted to see if you guys think that the Browns can make a move for any of these wide receivers before the trade deadline is up.
Mary Kay?
You know what? I think they're probably looking at all of their options because that's what Andrew Berry does. So I'm sure they've looked into almost all of these guys and probably some others as well. I don't know that they're going to make a trade. I think that they might feel they can get the pass catching duties accomplished with all of their tight ends and all the receivers that we mentioned before. So I think they'll look to make a trade. I think they'll see if they can improve the position somehow. Not sure they're going to spend a whole lot of money on a guy or a whole lot of draft capital on any one of these guys, but I think they'll look into a lot of them.
Don't you think that at this point in the season, if a guy's available, there's reason for it, whether it's contractual, whether it's injury, whether it's non-performance? I mean, they're not sitting there middle of the year if they can still produce it at their full potential.
Yeah, and also the thing that you have to consider at this point in the year is learning a new system, learning the new terminology.
Right.
I mean, if you already know the system, then, that's one thing. But if you don't know this language, it's hard to come in and learn an entirely brand new language at this point. Doesn't mean they won't do it. Now, if you have somebody that's worked for Chad O'Shea before with the Patriots, the Browns, the Browns receivers coach, something like that might make sense, but it would have to be somebody that has some kind of connection and knows the language that the Browns are speaking right now.
We were talking before the show about where you find some of these guys, and there's options. I mean, you could make a trade, but 3rd and 4th round picks they're not at this point. Are those expensive things to give up?
Yeah, you don't want to give up really great draft capital when you're heading into next year's draft, just to, once again, in some cases, rent a player for the next 9 games. Now, if you find some good young player in their prime and you can give up a reasonable or some kind of a middle round pick and have somebody here for a number of years, then that's another story. But like Vikings safety Anthony Harris, for instance, I know he's on the other side of the ball, but in a situation like that, his contract is up after this year. So you'd have to give up a pretty penny to get him, bring him here, rent him for 9 games, and then try to sign him to an extension with no guarantee you could do it.
Right. You and I were talking before the show that if you're going to lose Nick Chubb for 5-6 weeks, something like that, this is the time to do it. You got the bye week in there, and you've got teams that you probably could get along with without. But now it's time to get him back. What are you hearing?
Well, they're going to reassess it, and he'll be re-examined over the bye week. After this game against the Raiders, that will give him the opportunity to heal up. And then once they get towards, maybe on the other side of the bye, which, that's November 8th is the Sunday that's off. So as they move into the following week and get ready for the Texans game on November 15th here, that's when we'll have a better idea if he'll be ready to come back and play in that game. That would be about 7 weeks. So I could see it happening, but they also won't rush him back.
No reason to. No reason to at all. All right. What about Kareem Hunt? What did you see in him over the time that the Chubb's been out?
Well, one of the things that's happened in the time that Chubb has been out is that Kareem Hunt ran into two of the best run defenses in the NFL, and that's made things very, very difficult, especially, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look what they did to Derrick Henry. So this is a really great run defense, hard to make yards on. Not sure that Nick Chubb would have made much more hay against them himself. So that's one thing. The other thing is he's playing with injured ribs, and usually you find out later that means they're either displaced cartilage or cracked. So he's got some kind of a rib injury that is impacting him right now. He will not talk about it. He is very quiet about that kind of thing. But you just know that he's going out there. He's not 100%. And when he goes to move his body, it hurts. And that's the same boat that Jarvis Landry is in. And it's the same boat that Baker Mayfield is in, who is also playing with a cracked rib.
You mentioned Jarvis Landry. Does he impress you more each week, the fact what he does out there on the field?
Yeah, he's always impressed me. I mean, he's just so tough. And, he makes that contested catch. He, for the most part, catches everything except for the one game a couple weeks ago where he, against Colts, where he dropped a couple of passes. Of course, he would never say that was because it had anything to do with his sore and hurt, and we come to find out cracked ribs, but I'm sure that had something to do with it. He is amazing, and now, more will fall on his plate and on his shoulders with OBJ out.
216-575-0403 is the number to reach Mary Kay Cabot. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations, plus the website. Check them out, West 140th Street, Lakeland Boulevard, Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia. They've got the big sale going on now. It's the garage sale at Northeast Factory Direct. We'll come back in a moment with Mary Kay Cabot. We are powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, Mary Kay, the Browns' pass defense ranks in the bottom 3 in the NFL. They're 30th right now. And we've touched on it before. One of the big reasons right now is Andres Sendejo. He is giving up over 80% of passes thrown his way for completions. He's allowed 4 touchdowns, and he's got 7 missed tackles. So Bleacher Report suggests a possible trade that the Browns can make to help improve the secondary before the deadline. They say the Cleveland Browns have a winning record 7 weeks into the season, but the team isn't without problems. Chief among them, the middle of the defense. If Cleveland wants to make a serious postseason push, the Browns need an upgrade at linebacker or safety. Marcus May would be one. Playing out the final year of his contract, the safety has been a rare ray of sunlight in a dark season for Gang Green. He's tied for 3rd on the team with 44 total tackles, tied for the team league in sacks, and he's also to say he would be an improvement over Andrew Sendejo is an understatement. So let's take a look at Marcus May, what he's done so far. He's 27 years old in his 4th NFL season. This season, he's got 44 tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 interception. In over 45 career games, he's got 5 interceptions. So, Les, Mary Kay, the opportunity arises. Is this a deal that you would explore if you were the Browns?
If you don't have to give up too much. But Mary Kay, my head is still spinning from looking at that stat where 80% of the passes thrown Sendejo's way are completed. That's backyard football.
Yeah, that is not ideal. Now, I think they will probably end up maybe rotating Carl Joseph in there more as they go along. So I think you'll see more Ronnie Harrison, more Carl Joseph. And of course, you know, the safety position went to hell in a handbag when Grant Delpit was lost for the season with an Achilles injury. And at that point, they went out and replaced him for the most part with Ronnie Harrison. And I don't know if they'll go out and make another big name trade like this, like the one that Bleacher Report is proposing here. Not really sure if they'll do that, but I mean, because they are expecting Grant Delpit to come back next year. It's a very serious injury, but it was early enough in the offseason that I still think that they are expecting him back for the regular season. Not sure they would make a deal like this right now.
They must think they've got the talent there. It's just a matter of if they can get him on the field at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're counting on Ronnie Harrison. I think they're counting on their cornerbacks coming in and doing a better job now that they're starting to get healthy, a little bit healthier, and you know, hoping that maybe a combination of Carl Joseph, Ronnie Harrison, and then rotate in some Sendejo will be an okay way to go.
Okay, what we are seeing though is sensational play from Myles Garrett, who's got that spin move with the strip sack. He's got it down to a science. He's living up finally to what everybody thought he'd be able to do.
Yeah, this is what he needed to do. If you are really living up to your reputation as a generational pass rusher and you want to be NFL Defensive Player of the Year, then you have to be dominant. You have to wreck games. You have to make memorable plays. And he's doing that this year. He didn't really do that before. I mean, there were games in which he got sacks, but he really wasn't making the crucial, pivotal, game-changing play. He's doing that now, doing it on a consistent basis. And right now, he has the longest active consecutive sack streak in the NFL at 6 games.
That's incredible. All right, so there are various ways of taking care of a problem that the Browns have. If they lose a player to injury, that doesn't necessarily mean go find the same player, go find the same position. Is there somebody that may be able to help Myles Garrett by not directly backing him up? Is there somebody out there that might be able to make that defense a little stronger and help him out?
You know what? At this point, I'm not really sure. I mean, the big move that I would have made if I were the Browns, I would have traded for Yannick Ngakoue. I would have done that when he was with the Jaguars, and I would still have tried to do it when he was with the Vikings. I think that's an area that they still need to shore up. Right now, they have 9 sacks from Myles Garrett, and the rest of the team has combined for 9. And, you know, that's just not enough. The next guy, Sheldon Richardson, has 2.5. They don't have any out of Olivier Vernon. Now, they tried hard to upgrade the pass rush in the offseason. They looked into Ngakoue, and they thought about trying to sign Jadeveon Clowney. And they were not able to get either of those guys. Things just didn't work out. And so they found themselves just kind of saying, all right, we'll go with OV for this year and hope that we can get a nice season out of him. And so far, he just hasn't had the production that they need.
Right now at Smiley One, they're making it very easy to invest in a new heating or cooling comfort system without breaking up your budget. For a limited time, take advantage of this special financing, 36 months on select Bryant high-efficiency equipment. They make it easy for your family to stay comfortable all year long. Call Smiley One for more details. Mary Kay Cabot is with me. She, of course, with cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. But the Cleveland Browns getting ready to take on, not used to saying Las Vegas Raiders yet, but that's who it'll be. And they got the bye week and try to move up a little bit in the AFC North. We'll see what happens over the weekend. Let's take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. More sports and Les Levine continues exclusively right here on cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Browns Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Horrible day in local sports history. October 27th, 1995. Art Modell signs that deal to relocate the Cleveland Browns to Baltimore. Baltimore continued their habit of stealing teams like the St. Louis Browns in baseball, and they did it again in football. 216-575-0403. Birthdays for today: Ralph Kiner, Hall of Fame career in Pittsburgh, wound up his career with 1 year in Cleveland in '54. Quintessential, 1947. Brady Quinn doing the Fox games on college football. Born on this date: Evan Turner, Francisco Mejia, and Alonzo Ball, who may wind up here in Cleveland. I don't know if I'd like that. We'll see. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Mary Kay, what's your most memorable, when you look back to 1995 there, and the announcement of the move and that whole area with the season still going on and the Browns playing a game against Houston? What's your most memorable? What's the takeaway from that for you when you look back?
Well, I would say, the last game in the stadium. I mean, it was very surreal to see, Steve Everett there, just, fans crying, seats getting ripped out, knowing that it was going away, not ever knowing quite when it was coming back. It was actually so sad and almost, I don't want to say horrifying, but it almost felt like that. It was just a really sad and dark day for Cleveland.
You know, I was on the sidelines. Remember in those days we could be on the sidelines near the end of the game.
Yeah,
and
I was down there too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking up. There's about a half a minute left, and I look over to my right, and there's Brian Sipe standing there in regular clothing and so on. And I was about to ask him if I could talk to him for a minute, and I realized that's the stupidest thing I could ask a guy who flew in from California just to be part of this thing and revive whatever memories he had of being at Cleveland Stadium. And I fortunately caught myself and didn't ask whatever. I can't even remember what the question was. It couldn't have been a good one though. Those days are gone, and it's taken this long to at least even sniff coming back. But maybe finally they've turned the corner. But the one thing I take away from it is that so many fans and so many fans blame other fans and the media for letting Bill Belichick go. When Bill Belichick was fired by Art Modell when they moved to Baltimore, brought in Ted Marchibroda, and yet a lot of fans think it was the other fans and the media that messed up Belichick's career here in Cleveland. Not quite the truth.
No, that's revisionist history at its finest.
At its finest.
Didn't happen, right? It didn't happen that way.
No, it didn't.
Yeah. So,
it's fake news.
We didn't run Bill Belichick out of town.
If given the chance, we would have, but that didn't happen. Shows what we knew. Guy becomes the greatest coach in the history of the game, and we wanted him out of here. All right, let's take a little preview of the Las Vegas Raiders, another team that left their city, a great franchise, the Oakland Raiders. In fact, I still think they have one of the top 4 or 5 uniforms in all of football, maybe all of sports. Tell me a little bit about what Derek Carr is doing and what the Browns have to watch out for.
Well, you know, Derek Carr can get hot and they can score some points. They beat the Chiefs this year, so anything can happen. They're coming off of a big loss to the Bucs. So, you know, they've got something to prove. They want to get back on track. But he's not throwing many interceptions this season. Does that say 2 there?
Yeah,
I think he's only got
13 TDs and 2 interceptions.
Yeah. So, you know, this isn't one of those games where you can live and die necessarily off the interception. You're not going to be able to necessarily get that. So maybe they're going to have to try to get their takeaways in other ways. But you never know, because this defense is so opportunistic that, you know, that they are finding ways to make things happen that, you know, that weren't happening for other offenses. So, you know, maybe Miles gets in there, gets another strip sack, keeps his streak alive. That could be a way to go. But I think the place that the Browns can make some hay is, you know, in the passing game against this pass defense. They're just not faring very well at all. There's not going to be much of a rush. I think that Baker Mayfield, you know, that's when he plays his best, when he doesn't have all that pressure in his face, when he can see the field, where he's not rushed and rattled. So they're not getting a lot of sacks. They're not getting takeaways. And this is the kind of game where Baker can just kind of start to try to pick his poison a little bit.
Raiders defense giving up over 30 points a game, as the Browns are, and I think it's 31st in the league in defense as far as the Raiders are concerned. I guess that John Gruden doesn't care much about defense, I guess.
Well, he should, you know. He absolutely should. And yeah, this could be a game where they have to get into another shootout, and that happened really between Baker and Derek Carr when they played out in Los Angeles back in the day. So yeah, or actually it was Oakland at that point.
Right.
They move around so much I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is going to be a game where Baker's going to have to utilize his weapons. I think it'll be balanced. I think they'll be able to get the tight ends involved. I think you'll be able to throw the ball to Jarvis and to Richard and some of those guys, maybe Kadero Hodge coming back. So yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting one at the stadium.
When it's time for you to give your prediction, 32-31 seems to be about the number.
Yeah, it could be something like that. It could be, but yeah.
But the defense is suspect. In fact, has defense with many teams becoming out of date these days, or not important in the game anymore to some teams?
Well, to some teams, yes, but you know, even when, like when you watch a game, like last night, if you got a chance to watch any of the Rams game and you see Aaron Donald and you just see some of the really good defenders that they had on that team, you can see how you can really wreck the game and mess up someone's passing game with a great defensive front, and some really good defensive backs. So I do think that the teams that understand that concept, look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, the teams that can do that can mess up your passing game, they have got something going on.
No question about that. All right, Northeast Factory Direct. They've got 3 locations plus the website you want to check out. They've got their garage sale going on, and 3 locations: West 140th Street in Cleveland near the airport, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, and Freeway Boulevard, that's in Macedonia. We'll come back with Mary Kay Cabot. More sports and Les Levine continues, powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Tomorrow night, the D-Man Dennis Maniloff joins us, and Thursday it'll be Daryl Ryder of 92.3 The Fan, who is the Browns beat reporter. That's what comes up the rest of this week. As you know, we have the voicemail of Truth and Reason. It's 216-200-6650. If you can't call us during the show, this is the number to use. Let's go to Fremont, Ohio, where Ron Byer is standing by with his own comment. Hello, Ron.
This is Ron Byer. Wow, Les. Yesterday was a tale of two halves for Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. At the end of the first half, everyone was ready to bury Mayfield and say Cleveland has to go looking for a new quarterback again. Then the second half began, and Baker of 2018 returned. Cool, calm, and collected, and totally in control. The leader we all wanted and expected. Les, in my opinion, Baker Mayfield is at his best when he does not have to worry about getting the ball to Odell Beckham. Cleveland will truly see who we have at quarterback the rest of the season.
Mary Kay, that seems to be the thought out there in Browns land, that you can do it without Odell. I don't know that you can do that, a guy of his talent, but they're going to find out.
Well, once again, it will probably look that way again this week when you're playing against the, whatever it is again, the 30th ranked pass defense. So, all the anti-Odell people are going to be shouting the same thing this weekend if Baker's throwing it all over the yard again. But I think we have to continue to be able to take an unflinching look at the opponent. I mean, you really have to make sure that you're evaluating this for what it is, because I think we overvalued what happened in the last 8 games of the 2018 season, not taking into account that 2 of those victories were against the 32nd ranked Bengals defense. It's not to take anything away from what Baker did yesterday, but I'm saying when you are really taking a good hard look at what you have and what he's going to be capable of going forward, you have to take all of the facts into consideration.
Absolutely correct. However, you also have to take into consideration that you got to win the games you're supposed to win, and you're supposed to win them handily. So, wins are wins no matter who they come against.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it. But, you also want to be able to hang tough with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens and the good teams in the NFL. You don't want to just, win some games during the season. You want to make it to the playoffs, win playoff games, and ultimately contend for a championship. And that's what the goal is. And the team is built and poised to do that over the next 2, 3, 4 years. And they just have to make sure they have all the pieces in place.
Let's continue on to the voicemail of Truth and Reason. Say hi to BP and Pepper Pike. Hello, BP. Maybe not.
Hey, Les, it's BP and Pepper Pike. I hope you're doing well. It was a good Browns win yesterday, but they were lucky to get the win. The defense is just terrible. Cincinnati never punted yesterday, which is almost unheard of. They were basically 70% on 3rd and 4th down opportunities, which is, again, not good defense. So this Browns team, yes, they have a good record, but as far as being any type of a Super Bowl contender, I do not see it. I believe they need to bring in a couple of more veterans, either through, free agents on the waiver wire type guys, or make a trade for now a wide receiver, but they're about 3 or 4 players short here. And to be honest, if Joe Mixon played in yesterday's game for Cincinnati, we probably would have lost that game. So it's a good Browns win, but, they got a lot of work to do, especially on defense. And hopefully Nick Chubb will be back sooner than later. Take care. Have a good day.
BP, thank you very much. Mary Kay, you want to win every game. You want to win any title you can win. But the reality is this was not the year that was set up to try to even be in that position. And just getting to the playoffs, I think, is a major victory for this team.
Well, I do think that they were poised to try to make the playoffs this year. I set the bar there, especially with the added playoff team this year. I do think that the goal had to be to make the playoffs. Why not? With all the talent on this team, you've got 7 Pro Bowlers on offense alone. You've got Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Sheldon Richardson, Olivier Vernon. These guys are all Pro Bowlers. So the team is just full of Pro Bowlers and first-round picks and a lot of talent. And I do think that this was a season where they had to try to contend for the playoffs, maybe not go win the Super Bowl, but you at least wanted to make the postseason.
Yeah, you don't get to the Super Bowl until you win some games in the playoffs before you get to the Super Bowl. And
right.
People overlook that fact. They look at the paper, and if teams are good enough on paper, and you got to realize that there's a whole bunch of other stuff besides talent that goes into making a Super Bowl team.
Absolutely. And, I think they're on the cusp of, and I still think that they have a good chance of making the playoffs this year, again, in part because of that extra playoff spot. They are going to be right there in the mix with a bunch of other teams, like the Raiders and other teams like that are going to be vying for that 3rd and final wild card spot. So I think that's what gives them a tremendous chance. And I actually, at this point, I would probably be surprised if they don't make it.
Yeah, I agree with you, but somehow they got to find a way to see if they can play on the same field as Baltimore and Pittsburgh, and you can't get to the Super Bowl without beating those guys.
Yeah, you've got to be able to beat the Kansas Cities, the Pittsburghs, the Baltimores, if you want to get there. So that's the aim and the goal.
Yeah, the AFC is so much better than the NFC this year. All right, we're going to come back one more time with Mary Kay Cabot. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Dennis Maniloff will be here, and D-Man, the other D-Man, Daryl Ryder, will be here on Thursday. We'll take a break and come back again in a moment. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Dennis Maniloff joins us, and then Thursday night it'll be Daryl Ryder. You see us Monday through Thursday from 6 until 7 Eastern Time, right here on cleveland.com. So we'll look forward to seeing the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, tomorrow. Mary Kay, I got an email today. Somebody said, what happened? Did your dog eat your sport coat? That's pretty much what happened. I forgot my sport coat. First time in 25 years.
I think you look great.
Well, thank you very much. But about 3 weeks ago, I took an extra sport coat, and I said, why don't I have my own dressing room, leave it in the dressing room, and if I forget it, I forget it. And I said, no, I'll never forget. Well, I did today. So.
Oh, well, I think you look good. I thought it was just sort of your casual,
my sporty Mary Kay outfit. That's what it is. All right, we did get this legitimate email from Eastside Eddie. Don't you have to wonder if Beckham may not have been injured as often as he has if he'd stopped finding ways to skip practice every week? I mean, this is as bad as Allen Iverson with him. Every year he finds a way to skip training camp, comes up with a hangnail level of injury to not practice all week, and then he has a serious injury, and which might have been avoidable if he was in better game shape. Do you believe any of that?
No, not at all. My goodness. Last year he played through a sports hernia all year long, gutted it out, got out there, played every single week, made big catches and big plays, never complained about that whatsoever. We didn't even really know until after the season he was really suffering through that, or what it was. Underwent the surgery after the season, rehab from that. In 2017, he suffered a major ankle injury, had surgery, and had to come back from that. So no, that's just not accurate.
Do you agree with the assessment that he's not a troublemaker, but trouble seems to find him? And it's not real bad trouble. It's not illegal trouble. It's not anything like that. But somehow, some way, he's in the mix when something happens.
Well, he's flamboyant. He likes to mix it up, and he likes to shake things up. I personally like him as a person as well as a player, so I've never minded any of those kinds of things. Once again, it's not bad trouble. It's not doing anything to harm another individual. It's not things like that. It's just in that one game where he threw through the side.
Head toward the week against the Las Vegas Raiders. You do or don't expect the Browns to make some kind of a deal to at least compensate a little bit for the loss of Beckham?
I think they're going to make some kind of a trade or two, but I don't think they're going to be big trades. I think there'll be sort of maybe some minor moves that they try to fix some pieces here and there. Not sure if it'll even be a receiver. So I would expect something to happen. I don't necessarily think that they have to get a receiver.
Nick Chubb could be back maybe after the bye week?
Possibly, but they will be reassessing, probably another MRI during the bye week, and then they'll see how he's doing.
Have we seen the end of get rid of Baker Mayfield this year?
I still think that there's a lot of data gathering that will happen over the next 9 games. And once again, this is not a situation where, you know, he's a horrible quarterback or anything like that. The only reason why it's an issue is because it's decision-making time in the offseason in terms of an extension or picking up the 5th-year option. So that's the only reason.
I've had a couple of emails this week about that 5th-year option. Could you, in layman's terms, sort of explain what that means?
So if they decide that they're not ready to commit to a long-term blockbuster extension yet, what they can do at the very least is they have to make a decision by May if they're going to pick up the 5th-year option for 2022. It's a little perk that you get for first-round picks, the 5th-year option. So if they pick up the 5th-year option for 2022, it's guaranteed this year for the first time. So it means that in the year 2022, he will be on the roster and he will make the sum of money that's equal to, I think it's the 3rd through the 20th highest paid player in the NFL. So it will probably work out to somewhere around $26 million. So by May, they must decide, do they pick up the option and say, yes, we are willing to keep going forward for sure with Baker, not only through 2021, but through 2022, and pay him at least $25 million that year.
And that's for the 5th year. What about the 4th year?
The 4th year, he would still, in that scenario, would still be playing under his rookie contract. So it would be no big, huge bonus for that.
Right.
Year.
So basically what you're saying is the Browns have to decide before midnight on May, whatever, next year on what they're going to do about him.
Just coming up in May of 2021, they need to decide if they're going to pick up the 5th-year option or not. And if you don't pick it up, you're basically saying, we don't think you're our guy.
Right.
So he has 9 regular season games left and a few playoff games for them to make that decision, because again, it has to be made by May.
Am I correct in that that Beckham's money, because it was an injury, that he'll still get the bulk of it guaranteed next year?
He will get all of his money this year, and he will get he has a $12.791 million guarantee for next year because he had an injury guarantee for 2021. So yes, that is true.
I wasn't good in math, but that seems to be a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
I don't have to be good in math to know that.
Nope.
Okay.
So yeah.
I promise you I will have a sport coat next week.
I like the way you look, so don't go to any trouble for me.
I'm gonna take it up with my superiors as soon as I can find them. Great job as always, Mary Kay. You're terrific. Great job as always.
Oh, thank you. You make it easy. You're so great.
Well, if you want to keep talking, you can. I'm going home, but you can go at it if you want to. Enough is enough.
Good.
You talked out.
I'm good.
See you next week. Thanks to Mary Kay Cabot.
Right,
follow her on cleveland.com and The Plain Dealer. All right, Dennis Maniloff tomorrow night, Daryl Ryder on Thursday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.